Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our earwax removal video today. If you do enjoy earwax removal videos, we post new ones every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 p.m. UK time. So if you're not subscribed already, then please consider subscribing. So we've got one patient in this video for you today. Patient's coming with some very, very dry earwax in both sides, so which is going to make this wax a little bit tougher and it's going to be very stuck to the canal walls, which I'll explain as we go going along. So without further ado, let's pop this on. So let's get this up and going. There we go. So as you can see, when you first look in this patient's ear, you can see it's very humid in there. Obviously, it's very warm over here at the moment, the last few weeks. So patient's ear canals are getting a little bit more humid. But when you take a look at the wax, you can see that in the center, it's got this very honey color. And then around the outside, it's much, much lighter. Now, that's really indicative of this sort of much tougher, drier type earwax here. So what you can see, I'm working on that darker colored area in the center first, just to see how loose that was, and then working around the outside edge. But you'll notice as we pull down here with the standard size Zollner tube, you can actually see it lifting the skin as well around the outside edge here. Now at the front end, this patient has been using a little bit of olive oil just to try and loosen this skin and debris away a little bit. But as you can see, when that initial section's gone where the oil had come into contact with, we've got a much, much drier segment of wax sitting behind it, which is what we're working on now. So we just detach that bottom left-hand corner piece there. We're just going to start pulling down from the top now, just to loosen that top section of skin and wax away there. You can actually see as it comes away, look at the white material underneath. And as that comes down, you can see that dead skin that's trapped underneath it, which has formed this sort of really dry layer. Now with this kind of dry skin issue, it's quite common. The patient would normally be experiencing a little bit of itching. It would feel sometimes a little bit uncomfortable in there, especially if you put any water in. So after baths and showers, that water would get sort of trapped behind this wax and can become quite uncomfortable in there. So we're just trying to tidy up around the edges, and you can see as we peel this away, you'll know it's dry skin because you'll see all these little tiny lifts. They look like, what's the best way to, if you look at the ear canal, it looks like little breakers and waves. You see them coming down. So little tiny sort of white ridges you'll see all the way down the canal of these little tiny dry bits of skin that have worked off the canal wall. So we're having to work very close to the ear canal wall there just to try and lift this section from the right-hand side here. You can see it's just not quite coming. We've got all this up in that sort of top section up in the attic there of the ear canal. So we're just going to try and pull that away first before we work on this much larger section down at the bottom there. Just pulling this down. You can see it's just going to come out. You can see those little white ridges, those little sort of white lifts of skin I was talking about all along the outside edge there as well. You can actually see the dead skin underneath the wax, that whiter layer there as we take the wax away, where the dead skin has been trapped between the wax and the sort of fresher skin underneath. Got this little bit that's just kind of vibrating around there on a little bit of hair, so we're going to get rid of that. There we go. Can you see now what I mean about all these little white pieces that are left behind? This would just... You could just keep going and going and going on this dry skin, and it would just keep pulling these little white bits away. That skin now is always going to be dry. It's always going to be sort of forming these little sort of white layers. We've kind of got a saying over here, it's like a painted and false bridge. Basically, it's like a never-ending task. You just start, as soon as you start one end, you'll be peeling that away, and you'll just create more of those lifts. So you're better off just leaving those coming away, because it is going to be uncomfortable for the patient to try and remove those. So you just kind of leave those and let those come away, and they'll work their way down the canal then and come out. Now this is the patient's second ear. We're just in little cilia there, just at the front end of the ear canal there. So we've got this, you can see all those little very, very fine hairs there at the entrance, whose job is to stop any larger bits of debris getting down inside the ear canal. So we're just going to be able to push through those now with the endoscope so we can start working on this section behind. This one's a little bit more dry. You can see it's got that kind of much drier texture. We've got these kind of plates of dry wax laid one over the top of the other. And it's always, when it dries onto the canal like this, it always attaches really firmly because the wax dries around those little tiny lifts we were talking about off the skin in the first ear there. It dries around those and holds onto them really tightly. You can see the layers there as they're coming away. You can see this, it's kind of almost stretching those bits off the side there. And then you've got these kind of flaps of dry wax sitting right in the center there as well. So I'm just trying to start a bit further back. It's very difficult sometimes to see when you, especially when you've got quite dense little hairs on the outer part of the ear canal, that the wax can sometimes start much further back than you think it does. So it's always worth going back over and just trying to lift just at the entrance to the canal, because sometimes as you're pulling on these sections, those pieces that have almost welded themselves to the bottom of the canal wall there don't come away particularly easily. You can see as we lift this up, look at those white, see the skin peeling underneath it, where it's been holding on and drying around that piece of skin. Look at that coming away. You can actually see all the white under there is all just dead skin material. There we go, just lifting away. You can see the pinker, fresher skin then underneath there as well. It always holds on really tightly because you're pulling against skin, against the canal and against this dry wax. So sometimes you're better off using a tool rather than the suction. Now, crocodile forceps is great for these sort of plates of wax which kind of fuse together in there, and but you'll find that kind of whiter dead skin material not so good for that because it is still quite soft. You'll see it here bending and flexing, look, on this right hand side. So it actually pulled through the piece we were trying to hold on to, and then we tried to grip this other little section that's swung forwards onto a bit of an angle there. There we are. So we're getting a hold on that, just pulling that piece away. Sometimes if you're really lucky, they've fused together that tightly that when you pull it, it actually takes the whole thing out. Unfortunately, not the case here though. So we're just breaking this down a little bit. We'll go back in there with the suction because we've loosened everything up there with the crocodile forceps. It means we can go back in with the suction and just peel this away a little bit more, hoover up all those little bits of debris in there as well. There you go. So it's taking that piece of skin away. Now we've got this large central section of wax here that's perfectly formed to the shape of the canal. So we've got to work very close to those canal walls. Just got a bit of a lift there. Let's see, we can just about get the jaws of the forceps underneath there. Holding on to it, trying to bring this forwards, just going back on to get a tighter grip. And it's taken one of those layers away there. I am trying to remember to sort of pause as we take the wax out of the ears, but I sometimes I'm just so excited to get a piece out I forget that I've got to film it as well. So as we're pulling this away now, you can see we've got a good grip, nice flat section of wax there. Got a good solid grip with the standard size Zollner tube there, taking this away. Somebody asked in the comments on the last video about Zollner again. It's Zoellner or Zoellner if you're in America. So you can see it's just coming away. We've pulled that section down good to get a grip on this one now with the crocodile forceps. As we pull, it just loosens the next section, just brings it ever so slightly forwards so we can get a good grip on that next piece as well. You can start to see all these little white lifts again, look all around the outside edge, these really dry canal walls. Can you see we've got this section to the right, which is starting to loosen up a little bit, but the section to the left and the bottom here are still quite firmly stuck. So I'm trying, I can see a little gap there. You can just about see the eardrum through that gap, which means that these pieces aren't fused together as such. They're kind of overlapping one another. So I'm just going to try and get this left-hand piece away. It's just a bit too dry. It's not quite holding on to that section behind there. And back in with the Zollner tube now. There we go. Got a good grip. Just wiggling this. I'm trying to take this top left section away in one piece if we can. So we've got a good grip there. Just slowing everything down so you can see this coming away. There we are. That's taken a nice big chunk. It's going to free up. It's going to give us a little bit more wiggle room in there now for everything else you see. So now you can see we've taken that piece away. It means we can get hold of this bottom section and we can lift into the space we've created. There we are. Look at the whole, do you see that whole piece of white skin, the dead skin? The whole thing moved in one go. So it's all attached together there. That's broken away, but it's still held together on the right hand. Sorry, I'm talking so much, I'm going to dry my throat. It's just pulling that right section away there. Just loosening that up a little bit. Great for the crocodile forceps. Now, if we can get underneath this bottom section, slowly working just underneath it. Not quite getting the grip. It's just at the wrong angle, unfortunately. We're going to need to loosen this just a little bit more. So I'm going to aim for this top right section, see if we can pull this off the right side of the canal. You can see it detaching there really nicely. Now we got room to get the jaws of the forceps either side. So coming at the wax and this jaws of the forceps this way. There you go. Pinching either side there, look, you see. There we are. Feed a little bit further on. Got a good grip there. There you go. That's the next section gone. There we are. Oh, I just realized I forgot to put my glasses on. So we're just going to lift this bottom section away. There we are, just trying to get under the leading edge. There you go with the Zollner tube. Off it came. You can see all the white dead skin material underneath there that's been holding this down. The whole thing came away in one nice big U-shaped piece there. There we are. You can see all that white dead skin. Look how much of it was underneath that wax. So all that would have been kind of holding it there. You can see this kind of very pinky red color to the canal walls. Really a good indication you get a lot of dry skin. Plus you get all these little white lifts all the way around. And as I said before, it's a kind of like a Sisyphean task to take this away. It's just constantly going over the same thing, and you would just create more and more of these lifts, and you'd just be working on this constantly. So just taking that last little bit away. There we are. Don't forget, guys, if you did enjoy the video, then please hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed already and you do enjoy earwax removal videos, then please hit subscribe and you'll get 3 times a week a dose of earwax removal videos. So you can see it coming away. There we are. All looks nice and healthy. Look at these pieces here. So you can see all the sort of honey-colored material, those white strips in there, the dead skin that's all been wrapping around this, holding it in tightly there. So you can see it's all come away really nicely. So we've got what, sorry, I forgot to do the length, 4 centimeters. Oh no, my inch ruler's covered up. I can't see past the camera. It's also there in inches. I'm not good with inches. Okay, let's go back to normal. Right, so I hope you enjoyed that one. It's really common with these dry skin issues and dry ear canals like this. You can counteract it to a certain degree by using olive oil, something that just moisturizes the skin a little bit, and that will really help to loosen this off as well. So it is a good advice to give patients, to tell them to use a little bit of oil. Keep that ear dry probably for about 24 hours post-procedure, and then you can use a little bit of olive oil then just to help sort of moisturize it, stop these little lifts as much. The oil absorbs into the wax and then becomes a lot softer then for you as well. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that video, guys. I am due to take some well-earned leave. Like as I said in the last video, it's been absolutely crazy here over the last couple of months. So I am due to take some leave next week. I may be able to get some videos up, but I apologize in advance if I don't manage to edit the videos in time for my week off. But I'll fill you in a bit closer to that when that comes up. But thank you very much for watching again, guys. If you did enjoy it, hit me up with a nice thumbs up. Leave some comments in the section below. I am trying to respond to those as well. As always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and I shall see you again on Wednesday.